Hi everyone, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today we're going to be discussing a fun topic, mermaids.
Swimming in the seas. Or freshwater, as we have found.
Oh my god, I love the idea of freshwater mermaids, because when my sister and I were little, we'd swim in our creek that my grandparents owned. And we'd be like, mermaids are swimming with us.
Yeah.
I like freshwater. Actually, I think I like freshwater better.
Well, because we're both of European descent, it kind of makes sense because a lot of Europe is landlocked.
Right.
And freshwater is what they have around them, and their mermaid tales, as we'll get into, are freshwater,
mermaid
not saltwater.
Well,
I know, I've been saying tales a lot. I didn't know you picked up on it. I've said tale instead of story or whatever almost every time.
So there's a lot of loch. Am I pronouncing that right? Loch in Scotland. I'm German. I'm Germaning it up.
I mean, I think if you did a proper pronunciation, it would be like loch. Maybe it would be like loch.
What's that song? Loch something.
Oh, loch. Oh, I know what you're talking about now, but yeah.
But so are those salt waters?
But no, I think those are freshwater.
Oh.
I think the lochs in Scotland are freshwater. Don't quote me, and if I'm wrong, please let me know. But I was from all of my Nessie readings as a child, I was under the impression that the lochs were freshwater.
Maybe
that is my impression.
I could see that, because I was gonna say, well, aren't they saltwater? But no, anyway.
I'm like the song. It's on the tip of my brain.
Take the high road and
take the low road.
Me in Scotland. I love Scotland, and I love that song because it's about the war. It's about the 17. Yeah,
I was surprised to find that Corey and I both have Scottish heritage, which I mean it makes sense. I have Irish heritage. It makes sense that they're crossing.
So close.
I was surprised to see he had both Irish and Scottish, though. I
did not see that. I was really.
Okay, so in his looks, I feel like it's predominantly the French that comes through, and really in the Basque region, where France and Spain are borders.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's 40% somewhere in there, right? It could be specifically French, it could be Basque, it could be Belgium, but we were told that his grandfather or great grandfather was French Canadian, so it would make sense if he was maybe French from the Basque region based on his looks. Plus he's got all that Norse going, and when he's been combing his beard out, and I don't know if it's because he found out what his heritage is, and he's been I'm a Viking on the one side.
Low-key kind of silly. I was going to say lame, but but in an endearing sort of way. You know what I mean? That's so lame.
When he brushes his beard out, I'm like, damn,
he's
you are a Viking.
I do look like a Viking.
Yeah, fucking does. Really does. Really does.
That's so funny.
Because my husband, you guys don't know, he has a big bushy beard, and he keeps his head pretty much shaved. Not bald shaved, but
have him shave one side.
Oh God, he would never do that. Wait, not like that. Only if it got if we're talking what's his face? It was gonna go this way because my elbow caught it. What was his Ragnar
Lothbrok.
Yeah. If it was hair like Ragnar's.
That's
when we were starting to date. I mean, that is exactly when we dated. Not his hair. Anyway, so back
is he
on
losing his hair? I mean,
no.
Not to ask
no,
because male pattern baldness is called male pattern baldness because it's a pattern.
Right.
I can't. Yeah. We're young. My husband and I are young, and I know so many guys that I went to school with that their hair is just it's gone.
Yep. I will say, based on his known family, he's doing great.
Oh, that's so sad. We are not. I mean, it's not funny. If you have male pattern baldness, we do not mean to We're not.
I'm not making light of it. I hope you understood the way I just phrased all of that out of complete politeness and respect. Exactly.
Women.
I highly doubt my in-laws are listening, but I would never want to offend any of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And also just. men who are losing their hair.
Yeah, we feel for you guys.
Right.
Like,
I don't know
you're in
how
our
we
families.
Yeah.
We get it.
I know,
mean, I'm not speaking for you necessarily. I'm just saying, like, we
emotional
feel
thing.
it. Yeah.
You know, it's like...
For dudes, it really is.
It
It's
is.
kind of emasculating, you
It
know?
is.
It's just like...
Like, I kind of got a thing for Mr. Caputo on Orange is the New Black. Not
I
to
don't
be
watch,
weird,
yeah, I don't
but
watch
like...
that show. Because, like, I tried, but my kid watched it, and she was basically like, I got the vibe of, Mom, if you watch this show that I love, it's going to be too weird for me, and you're going to ruin something I love. So I stopped watching.
It's
So
really good. It's not up there with Game of Thrones and like the sex thing,
Right.
but I mean it's up there.
I
It's
mean,
not
like,
the worst.
I'm sure that's exactly why
Exactly.
she didn't want me watching that
Oh,
show.
yeah.
And it's fine. I don't want to take that shit away from my kids. So it's like, I don't mind. Like, and when I say my kid, like, she's 18, guys. Like,
But
no judgment,
still, right,
please.
yeah.
But she is still my kid, and I am still her mother, no matter what age we are.
So speaking of hairless,
right, hairless things,
right,
and over across the pond in Britain. It's not a British accent. I wasn't going for one. I don't do accents
what are you doing?
I just, like, sometimes I like to have fun with words.
Across the pond.
That's the, that's what they say. Across the pond.
There was a guy
in British biologist.
British biologist in the 1960s who theorized that we actually descended from
aquatic apes as opposed to land apes. His name was Sir Alistair Hardy.
I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not even going to say I want to believe it. But I'm not hating
it's a
on it.
compelling theory. So like when I went to the link in the thing that I sent you where I like had found that guy.
Yeah.
I went to the link and it actually made me download like a 4-page, and it's basically the typed out version of what he says to a group of other scholars when he's introducing his idea. And I didn't read the entire 4 pages, because like I told you, I was making dinner at the same time and stuff. And so like multitasking can only go so far before I got to get back to chopping vegetables. But he said, like, his theory was, he said, I can see these apes that have been pushed out of the inner lands where there's more food and stuff. So they've been pushed out to the shores, and they have to scavenge at first for
and then they
the
like
stuff
slowly
that washes
reach
up
onto land.
Well, no, they went from land into the water. Okay. Yeah, that's his theory.
That's a little strange.
Yeah, I know. It was very interesting, but very compelling because the way he portrays it is like, because we've talked earlier
like
about like
lizards.
Neanderthals and it is like the lizards.
You know,
that
the
move in
lizards,
the water.
they didn't always do that. There was a predator and they jumped in there.
That's exactly what he brings up, is that they were forced into the water by way of like better hominids taking over and kicking them out toward the shores. And so like then they wound up like, first they're like scavenging for like clams and seashells on the beach, and then they slowly get deeper into the water and then deeper into the water.
And do they develop gills?
Well, eventually they can breathe for longer periods of time, and eventually like they lose their body hair. Now, I didn't read far enough to see if he talks about their legs fusing into a tail-like fin like we're used to with mermaids, but he talks about how, for the most part, we are hairless. Except for the top of our heads, which would be sticking out of the water in tropical areas. This is how he describes it.
Right.
Is this would be the part of our body that's sticking out of the water while we're swimming in the ocean in tropical areas. So it's we have hair remaining only up here for protection from the sun. But otherwise, we've lost most of our body hair because hair would be resistance in the water. So we lost most of that body hair to be able to swim better in the water. And the way that our body fat layers are, it seems he was basically making a bigger correlation between the way that our body fat layers are with water mammals like dugongs and manatees and whales versus land mammals. And that's the theory.
I don't hate it. I mean,
it's
kind of got like some Waterworld vibes, you know?
It does. And so okay, so something happened where all the land apes were killed off that had kept us out of the Garden of Eden that was dry land.
Maybe they were
then we moved back up.
whatever.
Yeah, and then we moved back up onto land afterward. Like, that's kind of like, whatever. That's... Yeah.
So
interesting. It's very interesting.
Right,
it was like, yeah. And I mean, like, you know, when
I would believe this more than the Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah. True.
You know.
Well, and when he calls it like the land ape theory, and then you take the Japanese version of the mermaid into account, where the Japanese version is, it's like a monkey up top, and it's got fins.
Oh shit!
You know?
And it's got okay. I've seen illustrations. I know exactly what you're talking about. That shit is weird.
Well, and like
no offense.
And the fake P.T. Barnum. Have you ever seen the picture of the fake P.T. Barnum dried one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Where it's like on the shore or some shit.
Yeah, look up P.T. Barnum mermaid. Just look, if you look up P.T. Barnum, like Barnum and Bailey Circus, P.T. Barnum mermaid, it should show you, like, that should be, like, the picture.
You know what? That kind of goes really well, especially if they're legs. He thinks they're legs fused
Well,
together.
see, that's what I said. I didn't read that part, so I don't know if his theory is that we had the tail thing or not. I didn't get that far in it, because, like, it was a 4-page thing, and I read 1.5 pages. Sorry, guys, if you want to read it.
Every time I try to type in mermaid, my mind automatically puts murder. And I don't know why. I think it's because oh, yes, I have seen this.
Okay, yeah, I figured, like, almost
is it
anybody
real?
has.
It's
no,
not real.
I mean, it's fake. No.
Okay, yeah.
It's totally a hoax.
I'm like,
they've said. They've said it's a hoax.
Bastards.
I know.
Why do they gotta do that?
But, like, that's the visual interpretation that the Japanese legends have for mermaids, which are not called mermaids. There's another word for it, but I don't remember what
Now,
they
do the
call
Japanese
them.
also... Well, maybe this is a demon and less a mermaid, but it's a woman who has a snake tail. And the reason why I put that with mermaids is because...
Melusine?
I don't know. I'll look it up while I have my phone out.
Well, no, I mean, like, you put it with mermaids because of Melusine who has the serpent tail?
No, this is specifically Japanese.
Well, no, I mean, just lumping it in with Melusine.
Oh,
She is a mermaid who has a serpent tail. But I see, like, that anyway. Is it just a woman head and then a serpent body? Because I feel like I did read about that, but I can't remember the name of it.
So, again, I'm pretty sure it's a demon and not a mermaid, so I apologize.
No, you're fine.
So it...
Well, because, like, a lot of, like...
Or is this... Yes. Okay, so this is Indian, not Japanese. I apologize. Naga. And I know somebody who works with them.
Is there an image? I'm curious if I've seen
Yes,
it.
it's...
Because my brain is coming up with an image.
Spirits of the water. So
yes, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
It looks totally Japanese. I'm
right. Well, okay.
It's
So
Indian.
maybe that's
maybe
maybe
it's a Japanese drawing of and like
I think there's
cultures
a Japanese one, and I think there's an Indian one. Yeah, I think there's lots of cultures which we'll discuss later. Yeah, specifically with snake tails, and I do kind of lump them with mermaids.
I understand that.
I definitely do.
Especially if it's a water serpent. You know what I mean? Like, how can you not?
It's a member of mythical creatures, half human, half cobra.
That's
what a naga. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It actually
I read.
serpent.
Okay, so remember that series of books I told you I read where it's like this lady, she's like a detective hunter killer thing of like all this weird shit. Like there's like werewolves and vampires and whatever in this town that she lives in, and yeah. So like there's like one of the books covers a naga. Like,
really?
Yeah, a serpent lady thing. It was really cool.
Well, I swear there's a Japanese one, but apparently it's in Buddhism, Judaism. I believe that's what that said. Let me just double check.
I wonder if they
I believe it because Judaism fucking has a lot of... Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. Jainism. Jain ism. What is that?
I've never heard of that one.
And Hinduism.
Have you guys?
Yeah, have you?
I've heard of the other ones. Just the Jainism, guys. Like, I'm not dumb. I've never heard of Jainism. I once took an online quiz where I was told that I mostly aligned with Taoism. Like my...
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
So there's many cultures that have, which we'll discuss later. I don't know why I was going on with that, but but
there are many cultures. Yeah,
I like different tailed mermaids. Yes. I love the ones that look like octopuses. We've got that fucking one bitch from Little Mermaid. I love that. But then I've seen one where their tails look like pictures where their tails look like clownfish, and they've got the stripes. Oh. And then there's some like where their tails look like beta fish. You know, it's just like different interpretations.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
No,
beautiful.
I do. And my favorite is got to be like more like the beta fish where it's like, it's the iridescent, like their tails just like, it flips through the water and like it looks like jewels or something. Right. Much like is mentioned in our meditation on our Patreon.
Exactly.
If you like mermaids,
I love them.
Check it out.
You know, they have some that look like little angelfish, and like the tails are like, and I love the different types of fish. I'm sure there's shark ones.
One of my favorite things about the different interpretations of mermaids is where the body stops and the tail begins. Like some of them you see it lower and some higher. And I'm always interested what makes the artist, like where's that the depiction, where does it make it to the waist, below the waist, above the waist, you know, like
a little higher.
Like cuz I didn't see, like, there wasn't an illustration along with every different culture's thing that I was reading about, so I don't really know visually where that piece comes in. So it's like, artist-wise, why do you decide that it goes there? Because me, as a person, I picture the, like, I want to say it's straight out of The Little Mermaid, but it might not be. It might be another cartoon that has mermaids in it. But essentially, the mermaids...
like
tail,
where their hips are.
Exactly. It's where their hips are. It goes down just a little bit, almost like to
the
like,
pubic area. What would be a pubic area.
Right. Or maybe just a little bit above. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like right up. Yeah. And then like it's pretty much like almost like pants in the back. It goes straight across their back and
like Splash. Like that's
that is how
Daryl
like, Hannah.
Splash.
That's same. And so like I don't know. It just makes me wonder because I saw one picture when we were looking these up where I feel like she had a fully human butt.
Really? I think maybe that's just a sexual
thing. As I said it, I was like, that guy wanted to fuck the mermaid.
Maybe that was just a kink. I can't imagine wanting to fuck a mermaid because wouldn't they have like a fish vagina?
I don't know. There's that episode of Family Guy where Lois gets, like, she's on the shore and the merman saves her, and he's like, oh, don't you want to kiss me or whatever? And she's like, no, I'm good. And he's like, isn't this your fantasy?
So maybe like mermans are like they pull their dick out like pants.
Right. Because like I just love how the merman he calls her on it. He's like, but if I was the other way, we couldn't have sex. And Lois is just like, well, I don't care because this way you look like shit. So
yeah, right.
Like I'm leaving now. Thanks for saving my life.
Mermaids are sexual creatures.
They are sexual creatures.
In Hellenic, like first of all, mermaids in many cultures are like, I'm gonna lure a sexy man.
Right. There's a lot of tales that they're luring sailors to their death.
I love that it's sea crazed men.
I totally like. I'm sorry, but if you haven't seen a woman for a while, are you gonna picture a lady out in the waves?
Well, just fuck each other. I mean, just saying, like, say that. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like, I don't blame the mermaid.
Right. Well, I mean, like, there was like manatees don't look like they don't.
They don't.
Maybe like, a dolphin. Maybe the way they move their little legs.
From really far away and the light on, like if there's like the sun is setting and there's like different lighting on the ocean, you know, like because water distorts things. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
it's
if you're
like
just
the
seeing
desert.
if you're seeing flesh-colored tail fin when you're used to seeing fishy tail fin, wouldn't you be like, it's a human? Or not a human, but a mermaid.
Right. Like that would be so cool. Yeah. I've seen depictions where mermaids are drawn large with a whale tail. Because everybody sees little like mermaids like being normal. Yeah. What if they're big? That's kind of scary.
That is scary. What if they're tiny and like what if they're like seahorse size? Nobody ever thinks about it, but what if they're seahorse size? They're riding on a seahorse side saddle because they got fins.
Like the Triton. Or what if like the men? There's a merman with a seahorse.
In The Little Mermaid, didn't seahorses pull?
Yeah, they did. Yes.
So doesn't that mean The Little Mermaid said that mermaids were tiny too until they came up on because otherwise the seahorses were huge. But Ariel was the same size as Prince.
I think it was a lot of little small ones. I think it was a lot of little.
But weren't they like the same size to the carriage? They were not similar size. Like they were equivalent to the carriage. Like I feel like they were like this, and then the carriage was like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So like dog size compared to a carriage, which would mean in comparison to a mermaid, if it's a seahorse, then the mermaid's like this big. She's like a Barbie doll size. But maybe I'm remembering it wrong because I haven't watched The Little Mermaid for a really long time. Maybe they didn't mean to do it that way, but when I think about them as fairy size, and then I think like seahorses are like this big, but they were like only this much bigger than them, you know,
that's crazy.
in the movie. But then they were the same size as people up on Surface World.
Oh my god. I love
The Little Mermaid when I was a kid. I haven't watched it for a really long time.
I think every
my
person,
girls were little,
specifically every girl and man,
yeah,
or
sure,
and boy,
anybody,
I guess, went through a stage where they're like swimming in the public pool and they're like, oh.
I mean, I still, when the mood strikes me, I will try to. Who's what's
Sebastian.
The lobsters? Yeah, not. Wait, Sebastian's the flounder, right?
No, Flounder is Flounder.
Oh, Flounder is Flounder.
That's his name.
Okay, yeah. Sebastian, when he's like, I can't remember what he says right now, but
always
yeah, I used to do Sebastian in the pool.
Oh, you did?
I was Sebastian.
We'd be like Little Mermaid, my sister and I'd be like, ah. And then all the fucking music. Parents
now I see all the pop culture that led me down my road of loving reggae music. The Little Mermaid and Sebastian.
Oh, I love
right
that he's
there.
Jamaican. I love that.
Exactly.
You know all the parents in the pool when you got the weird girl that's singing The Little Mermaid. They're like, Well,
and let's be clear, I did pretend to be a mermaid sometimes, just not as specifically Ariel. I would swim through the pool like with my legs together, like I was a mermaid.
Fuck yeah, somebody's gonna see me and think I'm a mermaid.
Yeah, for real. Like if they had had those mermaid tail things when I was a kid that they now have, my parents would have had to fucking invest. Like, let's be clear. I would have been up their asses.
I want one so bad.
A couple years ago for Christmas, I got my niece a mermaid blanket.
Oh my god.
The one that you can put your legs in.
But the
swimming's way better, but
dude,
you don't have a pool, so why am I going to get you? So I got her the blanket.
I saw a video. It was fucking hilarious if you guys have seen this. I think everybody knows I'm kind of like pop culture and like reference in this one, but this little girl puts on her like little thing and she jumps in the pool and she's like like trying to stay above the water because she can't kick her legs. She can't fucking swim with it. She's like drowning, right? And her mom's like, take it off right now. And she's like, why? Like, you're drowning. You can't swim in it. Like she's literally like
mermaids can marry people to gain immortal souls. You can't become a mermaid and become immortal.
I just think it's so, kids are so fucking funny. Like, you're literally drowning, so your mom's like, take it off, and she's like, why?
No, I could see that with every kid I've ever known.
She's like, take it the fuck
myself
off.
included, probably.
Oh my god, my mom fucking sucks. I just want to be a mermaid. Like,
I wanted to be a mermaid.
I do
so
too,
bad.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just gonna say this right now as a witch. If you find spells online to turn into a mermaid, unfortunately they don't work, and I'm just
not where I thought you were going with that. Is that where you thought she was going with that, guys?
they don't work. They're just scammers.
I thought you were gonna say, "Let me know."
Oh no!
I'm like, all I can think of is the South Park episode where Kyle's dad becomes a dolphin, yeah, that's all I can think about when you say spells to become a mermaid.
Well, they online they have spells to become a werewolf, spells to become a mermaid, spells to become a vampire. Unfortunately, I know this because
I have an imagination to become all of these
When I first started getting into the craft, I started looking up easy spells, and of course, those were the first ones to pop up. But I can honestly tell you, I unfortunately am not a mermaid, and I was a kid. But you can try it and let me know. No, don't even let me know, because I feel like some bitch is gonna be like, it worked, Maddie.
I'm a mermaid.
Right.
Please get help.
Seriously. They don't work, so. You can't be a mermaid.
I just love the way you were like, I hate to tell you guys, but I'm not a mermaid. Like, I'm over here sitting across the table from you, like, trying not to die. Like I know
did not change my hair color, did not fucking do any of that bullshit. It was, and also now that I'm an adult, I'm like, why the fuck did I want to be a mermaid anyway? I live in Missouri. Freshwater.
We got the Mississippi River.
I don't know if you ever watched that show. I think it was like early 2000s.
As you heard her referencing it earlier.
We didn't really watch it because it was fucking dumb. But
my kids were little.
They're like, oh my god, I got a drop of water on me. Gotta run to the fucking shower before anybody sees. Because if I get a drop of water on me, I'm gonna turn into a mermaid. You know what I mean? Like, it's great.
I did not watch the show.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's Australian. It's Australian. So like they would like in every predicament it was like, whoa, their boyfriend, they're on a date. Whoa! And they accidentally like splash fucking water on him and they're like, oh! Yeah, right? Like or there'd be like it starts to rain while they're on a date. Oh my god, it's raining. Gotta go. And they're like, why are you always running away?
Did they have to keep it a secret?
Yeah, they did. They're like, why are you always running away? And she's like, I can't be with you anymore because
you asked too many questions.
Yeah, right, exactly. It was great. And they were Australian.
Yeah, Splash is my favorite mermaid
I
pop
love
culture.
it.
Like, Daryl Hannah, for one, I love Daryl Hannah movies anyway. Like, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, Invisible Man. Like, That's love Daryl Hannah. What?
No, The Hollow Man. I'm sorry. It's a version of The Invisible Man with bacon.
Yeah. That's not the same as Chevy Chase where he like accidentally becomes invisible and then he's like wrapping his body in ace bandages to be seen.
Right.
Fucking love that movie. And Daryl Hannah is the bomb in it. So, and she's the love interest in the
Is she
Roxanne.
Oh, Roxanne.
Yeah, well, she is Splash. She is Splash. That's Daryl Hannah
hair.
is Splash.
Is her hair that like always like that?
Yeah,
gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, because like Roxanne is what they're, is the Cyrano de Bergerac comedy that they're now making a more serious one with the Dinklage that you are excited for. So that's why I brought that one up, just because it's Daryl Hannah from Splash and the Cyrano de Bergerac.
Well, I love Splash.
First of all, Splash because Tom Hanks.
He's kind of handsome.
He is. He's a cutie. I loved him in
Maybe
the
not so much anymore. I don't.
Okay, I said he was a cutie. 80s, 90s. Tom Hanks cutie. Big.
He's got like a cute
he's got like the guy next door.
In a non-weird way. He has a really nice neck. Is that weird?
No,
is that weird to notice? Like, I noticed that watching Forrest Gump last night, which is fucking weird, I guess.
That is weird because he's not attractive as Forrest Gump. For
no, but
many
he's got
reasons,
a nice neck. Like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
No,
I'm not attracted to necks.
No, but I get you. There's certain, aesthetically pleasing aspects, and I do understand, and I have noticed that predominantly from him in not Big.
It's so weird in Big. It's like.
Yeah, he's like because he's supposed to be a kid. So.
Yeah, I know, but he's like.
But like, then you're a kid watching it, and that's weird.
Have sex with that lady.
He does,
which
totally.
is weird.
But he's an adult body, so, but it's weird as a kid watching it, thinking he's cute, going, he's my age, but he's also like a 20-something, 30-something. It's the best of both worlds. No, I mean, it is, but again, I thought my husband was in his late 20s when I met him. So.
Well,
don't be like me, girls.
So, Splash is actually really good. He can breathe under the water when he's with her, right? I believe so. I believe that's why he was under the water for so long in the beginning. And then in the end, I may be wrong, but in the end, he swims away with her. Instead of her getting rid of her mermaidism, if you will, which he becomes a underwater person. Yeah.
Which is awesome because there's like a lot of different things I've seen. Like there's an episode of Mike Tyson Mysteries, which I've mentioned on this show before. I love Mike Tyson Mysteries. I go to bed to that show most of the time. And there's an episode where like one of three brothers like went missing. Well, it's because this little mermaid girl, like, he was drowning and she saved him and he lives underwater with her.
I love that.
Yeah. I love that. And like, there's a lot of like the several of the Russian mermaid stories about Rusalkas, it's very often a man who cannot resist her siren song, essentially.
Of course, always.
And he goes with her to the underwater world, and he lives there, at least for a time. Sometimes he comes back home, and sometimes he doesn't.
I love
it's
men.
like a super huge trope. And plus, like I mentioned earlier...
I'm a woman, but take me with you, damn it. I want to go underground, or under the water,
and live there, and be able to breathe and not drown. Hell yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sign me up, Atlantis, guys.
Right,
That's how I picture Atlantis, guys. A bunch of mermen.
Because they don't have any, or with tails or without?
With tails or without. I like to picture both ways. I watched this cartoon called Ugly Americans, and there's one episode where they go to Atlantis because it's totally a real place. And everybody, they have legs. They don't have tails. But they're like, they have other weird, like, not exactly human attributes to them.
How the hell did we not even think about Atlantis with this episode? Because I'm just saying
I think they inhabit Atlantis. I really do. Yeah. I think Atlantis.
Mermaids?
Like, when I think Atlantis, I think a city of mermaids now. Because, like, if Atlantis sank, like, there's mermaids
They're going to evolve.
Yeah, they're going to evolve into mermaids because they hit the fourth dimension.
Right.
That's why they sank. Mermaids. I love mermaids.
But in Splash in particular, when she eats the fucking lobster. And she just takes a bite out of the lobster. Yes. I feel like she did that in real life, and I can't help but wonder, like, did that hurt your mouth?
Yeah, my teeth felt funny when you said she did that. Well, I'm like, what if you got shell right in the gum?
I know. And then, he's like, "What's your name?" And she's like, "E."
I know. And the big tub of water he has in his apartment for her.
I know, dude.
I just love that movie.
It's I
watched it so much growing up.
The mermaids and I totally forgot the fucking It's a fountain. And she loves it. Oh, yeah. And she bought it and put it in the house. But it's actually
it's a really heartwarming
but I fucking love the scientist. The one who kidnaps her.
Yeah.
Because he's so
Who plays him? I don't remember.
The dad from the dad from American Pie. But he's got black hair.
Oh, yeah. When he was
Yeah,
younger.
dude. He's a funny fucker.
Yeah. I love him.
In most of his movies, he's hilarious.
Hilarious. I love him with Catherine O'Hara. They play married couples so much, and I heard, like, this bad 90s rumor back in the 90s that they were a married couple, so, like, my entire adult life...
So who's Catherine? What else does she play in?
Catherine O'Hara, she's the mom in Beetlejuice.
Oh, yes.
She's his wife in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. They are so good together.
They are. Well, they did a bunch of indie movies and comedy stuff in the 90s together, and that's what my dad liked to watch, so I watched a lot of that stuff. And, like, Eugene, what's his last name? Isn't it Eugene something?
It's Eugene something, I think. Yeah, he looks like a Eugene.
Yeah, he does. But, like, they played a married couple in so many things. I thought they were in real life.
Well, they have great chemistry. I totally see why they did that casting. But, like, I think he's kind of handsome in Schitt's Creek. He's kind of handsome. Maybe not when he was younger. American Pie dad, like, era, probably not. I actually kind of despise him in American Pie because he's always interrupting Jason.
He gives me my dad vibes, and as we've discussed,
absolutely.
I can't be attracted to any actor that gives me my dad vibes.
No, I'm just gonna but seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, I feel
Eugene Levy, absolutely.
I feel like every time I ask that question, I feel like they're legitimate questions. I'm not just saying that about random people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Eugene Levy, because Dan Levy's his son. Yeah, he is a very attractive man. But I love mermaids because we've got the famous mermaid tales, and then we've just got mermaids everywhere in pop culture.
Everywhere.
And, like, they come from these famous tales.
Right, so can we start with Triton? Do you mind?
Sure!
I fucking love Triton because he's like one of the only merman stories
in pop culture.
Yeah, in pop culture.
Yeah.
First of all,
or I guess that delved into birthed into pop culture, because there's a lot of mermen out there. Like there's a male equivalent of the Rusalka in Russia. I just can't remember their name. But like there's several different. The Scots have a merman thing too. But I feel like, Triton's like the OG.
Yeah, right.
That's what I like.
His dad is Poseidon, and who is his mother?
Amphitrite.
Okay, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I have no idea
what she's the goddess of.
So thank you for pronouncing that out loud.
No worries.
I call her Amphi because I don't fucking know. It's kind of like Aphrodite, but it's like no.
Right, because it's got the
but it's got the A and the H.
Yeah.
But is that just my dyslexia? I don't know. Anyway, so he lives with his dad.
Hard.
And his mom in the kingdom down there, right? Yeah. In Atlantis. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's not what it's called.
But, I mean,
and he's got, like, this really cool conch shell. Ooh. But now that I think about it, I don't know if you've seen Jason What's-his-face? Momoa as Aquaman.
Yes, I have. He would be such a good Triton.
He'd be a great Triton.
He would be a great Triton.
You know, because I don't see Triton as old. No. You know, he's a young one. So I can see Jason What's-his-name. Gonna cast Triton
as Jason Momoa. So what I love about Triton, other than the fact that he is like the main OG merman. Mm-hmm. And he's
masculine. Not many mermen are like I mean, in pop culture, they're kind of feminine. Yeah. But Triton's like
yeah, he's a manly, godly man.
He's not even a demigod.
I learned something new that I didn't know. So Triton, because I wanted to learn more about him for this episode, he has 2 daughters. One whose name I'm not even going to fucking try to say. The other's name is Pallas.
Oh, that's pretty.
Now, have you ever heard Athena referred to as Pallas Athena? That's what I always call her.
No, I have not.
Her name is Pallas Athena. And then I saw that his daughter's name was Pallas, and I thought, well, that's interesting. So I went and I read about Pallas. Triton raised Athena after she came fully formed out of Zeus's head.
Because Zeus was like, get away.
He raised her alongside his daughter Pallas.
Oh, that's neat.
So they were having like their little, Olympic games one day, and the 2 girls were against each other. And they're whatever. And Zeus, being the fucking bastard that he is.
We love you. We're just saying.
But you're so wrong for this. He didn't want his daughter to get beaten.
Athena.
Yes. So he distracted Pallas. So she was not paying attention.
He's like, I'm a sexy man. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. Yeah, it doesn't say what he did. Right. Maybe he's like,
hey.
Do you like swans?
Or cat. No, never mind.
No, his dad's Triton. So do you like manatees?
Manatees.
But whatever he did to distract her, Athena is expecting her to defend herself. She pierces Pallas and kills her.
Oh, that sucks.
And she's so heartbroken over it, she adopts Pallas's name as part of her own as a tribute to Pallas.
Oh, that's
and that is why she is referred to as Pallas Athena sometimes, which I always wondered where that came from because you don't see it everywhere. No. You don't always see her named as Pallas Athena, but that is how I learned her name is as Pallas Athena. So when I saw that his daughter's name was Pallas, I thought, well, that's weird because it's spelled the same way as Pallas Athena.
So you looked it up.
So I looked it up.
That's awesome.
And I saw that story and I thought, wow, Triton raised Athena. That's where Athena learned all her arts of war and diplomacy was from Triton, not Zeus. That's interesting to know.
That is very awesome.
But she essentially felt like she killed her sister and she was so sad about it that she adopted her name as tribute. So it's like my heart broke for Triton because it's like you raised this man's daughter and he's like, oh no, my kid can't be beat. And he fucking killed her. And that's why I say, Zeus, you're wrong for this. I'm sorry. I love you, honor you, what have you. But that was fucked up.
Yeah, right.
That was typical Zeus
couple
move.
Things.
Raise my kid and I'm going to have her kill your kid. Sorry, not sorry.
He's like, I didn't want Athena, so, because... I
bet he was afraid of Athena.
Oh, absolutely.
She's a diplomat.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
She's all about civilized things, and you got Zeus in his bull costume.
What? No, that was
No, it wasn't a
Poseidon.
costume.
Poseidon was actually the one that cursed the woman to fuck the cow.
Oh,
and she wore a cow costume because she's like, oh, look at me, I'm a cow in heat. And then the other cow was like, nice.
My bad.
Yeah, it's
so Zeus.
We will do a at least segment on the.
So
the
Zeus
Minotaur.
was the swan, and what was the other thing he made himself into? I know there's another animal. Wasn't there another animal?
So there was a swan. Yeah, there was. Maybe he was also a cow, but I don't
know. I'm getting us off topic. I'm sorry, but
Zeus was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do love Triton very much. And when I think of merman, I think he's typically one of the first ones that I think of. And I think the idea of Jason Momoa as him is a great in my head.
Well,
I can see him like he's like talking to the fish, like through his like little
right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I love Melusine as far as like
I do too.
Mermaids.
Absolutely.
I love her tale of like her mom is a fey creature who's like, dear husband, I'll marry you, but you can't come see us while we're bathing, me or the children. Mm-hmm. And of course he does. And so she takes him away.
Man.
He's a fucking man, and he's
a pervert.
Curiosity
he's
killed
like,
the cat.
What do you look like in a bed?
Well, also it's like, why is he peeking on his kids? But
right, that was my thought
they're all daughters.
That was my thought too.
So the mom secrets them all away to go live in Atlantis. Actually, is it Atlantis?
Oh, it wasn't. No, Avalon.
Avalon. Okay, I was like A word. I was like, oh shit, it is an A word. I just
want to study more about Avalon, and get to know that because I know the Shakespeare, but I don't know the
other lore. Yeah, I don't either. Corey read a lot of it growing up, but all I know is from him explaining it to me, and I'm not.
I think I felt my baby move. I did. Sorry, it's been days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But so speaking of babies, so the mom secrets away with her babies, and then they find out when they're a little older, they don't live with their dad because of what he did. And so Melusine herself is like, all right, sisters, let's go punish dad. So they go fucking ambush their dad to punish him. And when their mom finds out, she punishes Melusine by giving her a serpent's tail.
I love mermaids with serpent's tails. I think I said that earlier this episode.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I think it's
I think so too. But also the way it moves. And sometimes she's depicted with two tails, a split tail. And it's very interesting. Starbucks, exactly, because Melusine is on the Starbucks cup. You are all familiar with her, whether you know it or not.
Right.
When they say a pagan goddess or a pagan idol, they're talking about Melusine. That is on, and I hope I'm saying that right, but I don't know. I'm just based on the way it's spelled. I go with Melusine.
I love her story.
Just like the next one, which is really fucking hard. So you wanna?
Oh, yeah.
Atargatis? Atargatis?
No, okay. So me and Amber, I was going to say Melusine. Me and Amber cannot remember how this guy died.
Yeah.
So she caused it somehow, I believe.
Right.
Either way, he died.
She was a goddess, wasn't she?
I think so.
Or was she?
No, she was not. She was
she was incredibly beautiful.
Yes.
I do remember that. Yes.
So she commits suicide by jumping into a river. But the river spirits or the pond or whatever it was she jumped into, the creek, river, I'm pretty sure this is freshwater, right? Or is it
I don't know. I pictured the ocean.
Okay, so maybe she jumps off a cliff. She's like, I'm going to kill myself like the original Little Mermaid. And lands into the water and the water spirits are like, no, she's too beautiful to just let die.
Yeah.
So I imagine as she's jumping into the water, she lands in the water, and all of a sudden she's like, kill me, right? But then all of a sudden there's these waves, and it's like, whoosh, whirlpool, whirlpool, whirlpool. And then there's
It's so funny because I picture as she dives in and she's like, take me, and they're like, yeah, we gonna take you, but not the way you expect. And as she goes in, she transforms.
Oh,
now she can bleed.
Transforms.
Yeah, and then she has a tail, and she's swimming, and she's like, what the fuck just happened?
So maybe
I want to be with my love. I didn't mean to kill him.
I think I'm seeing it more in The Little Mermaid, how she turns into a human,
the swirly.
But it's the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
The swirly.
I'm picturing in the water, and now she's a fish, straight up fairy tale imagery,
Wow. And then she's like, whoosh.
Also with that same, I like that.
Yeah, right.
And all the sound effects. And now she's a mermaid. And she's one of the first, literally.
Yeah, right.
From what I read, we've had mermaid tales before we've had writing. There's been tales of mermaids since before we had written anything. And they're all around the world. They have them in the Philippines, Thailand, Japan, other Asian countries. All throughout Europe.
Obviously in India, but they're more like snakes.
In Africa they have Mami Wata.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, who I read that her imagery was changed over the years, I think after outside forces had influence, right? So like they saw other mermaid imagery. So like I think her body became a little bit different based on what I read, where like more tail mermaid attributes were added to her, but she's like the goddess of the waters that's celebrated in Africa and in some of the Caribbean islands because of people from Africa going to the Caribbean.
Oh, wow. Well, and then, of course, they have it in the Caribbean. So,
like, the only thing I don't remember seeing was Native American mermaid tales.
You know what? I feel like they exist.
Pun intended.
I feel like they exist.
I'm sure they do. I feel like they do. I just don't remember reading any. But I bet there are some
because there are Native American fairies. There's got to be
well, and there's tales of water creatures in Native American lore. And just because it's not mentioned in the other things I found about mermaids doesn't mean there's not some kind of human fish or water mammal hybrid that they have in their lore. I just didn't find anything. But I fully believe they probably do. Just because you find it everywhere else in the world. Like,
absolutely.
Everywhere that we could find.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, like, oh, shit, what was I going to say? It had to do with mermaids. I mean, like, okay. So, on the topic of, like, pop culture, they were in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, I mean, they're all over pop culture.
They're right. That's what I was going to say. They're all over in pop culture still to this day. They have not slowed down. Like Little Mermaid, we've got Splash. Oh, yeah. H2O. There was some other
show with Emma Roberts. Like, didn't Emma Roberts got her start on a mermaid show? Maybe she started somewhere before.
Aquamarine.
Yes,
I love that
Aquamarine.
one. I love that one, actually. She's like, I gotta fall in love. I gotta prove to my dad love exists, because we watch that shit all the time. That movie.
Did you?
Oh, absolutely. I was like, I want to be Aquamarine.
I was looking.
Is there a spell to be Aquamarine?
I came across that and I was like, holy shit, it's Emma Roberts. She comes up in all our podcast episodes. Why?
Oh, that bitch.
American Horror Story, you go deep.
Well, American Horror Story kind of had mermaids, so really? I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like this latest season in Maine, they had, like, I guess those were more vampires and less mermaids.
Oh, the things in the water? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
Those were more vampires.
But you say American Horror Story, and this isn't it, but The Hobbit, not The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. Now, granted, these weren't mermaids per se, but remember the bog that, I don't know if you're a big Lord of the Rings fan, I am. They went through the bog, and in the water were the dead people that, like, would try to entice you in, just like sirens calling you to your death. You know what I mean?
Brings me to the Odyssey. Oh. Where that fucker, so the way that they drove through the sirens, which I believe, like you said, sirens in this story, at least in the article that I read, originally were the half-birds, half-people, but pop culture turned them to the beautiful mermaids. They become
beautiful mermaids with the sirens on, because, it makes more sense that enticing beautiful women.
Exactly, right? So, I mean,
that's my assumption.
But it also makes sense that sirens would be birds, because birds sing beautiful songs.
Yeah, that
so what they did was
how'd they get to the rock? They flew there.
They put, exactly.
Swam. Never mind. Yeah.
They put wax in their ears so they couldn't hear them. But Odysseus was like, tie me up, bitches. Tie me up. I want to hear. Tie me up. Don't let me out no matter what. And so he's over there tied up listening. Let me out. I got to fuck this bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they didn't.
And, like, it's so funny because I'm glad you brought up the Odyssey and Odysseus, because I don't know if you watch Disenchantment on Netflix, but it's one of my favorite shows. And they have mermaids. And they have this thing where Bean, the main character, she's trying to get out of marrying this, like, obnoxious ass prince. So she's like, oh, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have this thing called a bachelor party. So before you get married, you go get buck wild. So we're gonna take this cruise through the lands where you can go fuck a bunch of mermaids. And he's all like, ooh, I like the sound of this. It actually, like, it's not fuck a bunch of mermaids. It's he wants to hear the siren song, right? So they do the Odysseus thing. They tie him up, and everybody is tied up so they can hear them and pass safely through. Yeah. But they can't jump out. But Bean and her two friends, the other main characters, they all put wax in their ears, and then Bean chews through her soon-to-be husband's wrist bindings, so that once they get close enough, he can break his ropes and she won't have to marry him. And so he goes and he fucks a bunch of walruses because the sirens are the sirens singing. Those are walruses. The mermaids are over on this other island. So,
oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So afterwards,
is there a scene on Treasure Planet? Is it Treasure Planet?
Island?
Treasure Planet. It's a old Disney movie. I swear, where they're like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing Treasure Planet.
But there's they're just everywhere.
They are everywhere. And like the whole siren song thing is just like so huge in pop culture.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
it's beautiful.
It is. And actually now that I think about it, like, I'm like, it also it moves into like that whole like ghosts and demons beckoning you.
Oh, it does. It does. It really does.
It does. That's crazy.
It's very. I don't know. I personally am a huge fan of mermaids. They're absolutely everywhere. I can't wait to see the new Little Mermaid. I think my favorite mermaid is definitely got to be Ursula. She's a fucking badass. I love the fact that she's an octopus.
Yeah.
And I love her song "Poor Unfortunate Souls."
Oh yeah.
I love it. The Sea Witch.
Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one. Do I have a favorite mermaid? I feel like Daryl Hannah from Splash is probably my favorite mermaid.
I think so too.
Although at this point, my current favorite mermaids in pop culture would have to be in Disenchantment, because they play a big role in the show. Like they're not in every episode, but the further along in the show you get, the more the mermaids come around.
I feel like there was a movie in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, but I'm pretty sure it was early 2000s, because I'm an early 2000s kid. Born in the 90s, but early 2000s.
90s.
It wasn't a Sabrina the Teenage Witch movie, was it? Where there was this guy who was a mermaid. She had to help him get out to the sea again. And, they had to keep it a secret because someone wanted to put him in an aquarium. Is that Sabrina? Is that a Sabrina the Teenage Witch movie? I swear it may be.
That sounds really familiar.
Yes. I could have sworn it was a Sabrina movie. Or somebody who's equally as big as Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I'm like,
was it a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie? Surely not. They didn't.
Vaguely familiar, but
like they were gonna put him in an aquarium to make money from him, so she had to help get him back. I remember the opening is when they're like in the pool swimming or some shit, but like I can't remember. I really feel like it could have been Sabrina.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Oh, but
it could totally be a Sabrina episode.
We'll see if it's a Sabrina. But I'm pretty sure we also discussed The Shape of Water, which we've never seen.
Which like I've never seen it, but the way somebody put it to me was like it was almost like the exact same thing as Splash, but like a serious version. And the roles were reversed. The male was the water creature, and the female was the person. But I've never seen it. But when looking into it, I saw they're remaking Splash.
With
Jillian from Workaholics.
Oh, I was going to say Channing Tatum.
I know, but I'm excited about Jillian from Workaholics. Like, it's kind of that whole thing with like the love interest that you were talking about with Chris Hemsworth and what's her face in that
Rebel Wilson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so like for me, I love that they have Channing Tatum and Jillian. Like, fuck yeah, Jillian.
That's fucking
go
awesome.
Girl, you go.
Okay. Whew, it was a Sabrina the Teenage Witch movie. Sabrina Down Under.
Oh my gosh! Okay, she's in Australia.
Yes.
I saw that probably once. That's why I'm like, I have a vague memory of this plot.
movie. I loved this movie. I haven't seen it in
what year was it made?
Years 1999.
Yeah, so that was at the end of my Sabrina days before I was partying too hard to care about TV.
So that I was like, I swear to God, it's
Like,
Sabrina.
because it sounded so familiar. I was like, this sounds really familiar.
Oh, it's good. It was good. I don't know if I watch it again.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know how 90s
childhood
shows
stuff
are.
is.
Well,
yeah.
and also...
I love 90s shows still. I still watch 90s shows all the time. Like, the PJs. Well, I guess that's late 90s, early 2000s. But,
we watch a lot of Friends. Well, we used to before Netflix took it down, which is really upsetting, but big Friends fan.
Yeah.
But anyway, what are your thoughts on mermaids? Do you think that they are real?
I believe. I
do believe.
Like, there was no question among the human race that they existed prior to, like, the 1800s. Like, everybody just believed. They just completely believed.
Usually I say I want to believe. I don't even have to say I want to. Yeah. I absolutely believe in mermaids. Do you believe in mermaids? And if so, comment.
Again, it goes back to that whole, I feel like we'd have to be, we're really egotistical if we think that we've discovered everything there is.
Exactly. You know? Same with aliens.
Yeah, it's just like Bigfoot, excuse me, if mermaids don't want your loud
I almost went too far and was like, what if mermaids are, in a secret shell within the ocean? I'm like, oh, you're getting close to Hollow Earth theory. Let's reel it in. Maybe they're in the trench. That one trench.
Atlantis. I still fully believe Atlantis is inhabited by mermaids.
What the fuck is that trench called?
Oh, the Mariana Trench?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Or that super deep hole that nobody knows what the fuck's at the bottom of other than all of our human trash. Mermaids must hate us. Oh my God. Stop throwing your trash in the ocean.
What if mermaids are in the fucking roaring rivers? Because I'm sorry, that thing was so deep. It's literally the deepest fucking spring in America. So far, they're still going.
Could be. Again, I firmly believe.
Scary. I did not know it was that deep.
It's just like Bigfoot. If they don't want us to find them because we're so fucking noisy, we're not going to find them. You know what I mean? You can't go find mermaids without a boat or scuba gear.
And even if you do find a mermaid, then nobody's going to fucking believe you.
Well, and if you do find a mermaid, that mermaid lets you find it. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of mermaids letting you find it, one tidbit I want to throw into our episode before we end it is there were mermen in Scottish mythology that they were blue colored, they had bluish skin and bluish hair, and legend said that if you came upon them, they would basically have a battle of wits with you, or maybe not so much a battle of wits, but a verbal back and forth. And if they liked, if the captain of the ship was, yes, exactly, like a rap battle, like the original epic rap battle. And if they liked what the ship captain said in return, you could pass safely on. Otherwise, they'd sink your ship.
I'm such a fucking dork. My first thought was the Eminem. Everybody in the 212, put your hands up because this guy is through or some shit.
Oh, God, I love it. Hey, Mom spaghetti. That's a saying around my house because Roz discovered that song because of something that she found on the internet or whatever, and so she'd be like, Mom spaghetti.
What are we having for dinner tonight? Mom spaghetti.
When you put it in those terms, it is not appetizing. Fuck you, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say
about
fuck
20
your mom,
years ago.
but
anyway. Sorry, that was too far. But the Scottish thing, I thought that was really interesting because also apparently Alexander the Great's sister was killed, and they theorized that she became a mermaid.
I saw that.
Yeah, and she would ask ships, is King Alexander still alive? And if was it King Alexander or King Arthur? Did I say the right A name?
I think it was Alexander.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
King Alexander. Okay, so she'd ask, is King Alexander still alive? And if they didn't give her, the right answer, she'd, go ballistic on them. Yeah,
totally.
Very interesting mermaid lore. If you like mermaids, there's a lot more out there than you think. There's a lot
of other famous, whatever you want to, explorers, whatever. Christopher Columbus even
claimed to see a mermaid.
Mermaids. Yeah. And so there are many other people and explorers who claim to have seen mermaids.
They really are. It's really interesting.
Because they're real.
There's a lot more than I thought there was. Not to say that I didn't think there was going to be a lot, but there was a lot more specific stuff than I thought I was going to find outside of Hans Christian Andersen's original version of The Little Mermaid and stuff like that.
Which is sad.
It is sad. The original Little Mermaid is sad. She
dies.
Well, not just that, but like once she gets legs, they describe it, it's like walking on knives for her.
Yeah, exactly.
She literally puts herself through fucking torture for nothing.
Yeah.
That's sad to me.
And then she kills herself. Well, she jumps off the fucking cliff.
Well, I read that like the curse killed her because she couldn't marry the prince after all.
That sounds like Swan Lake. Unless that's what happened, but I'm pretty sure
I wanted to read the original book, but
I thought he married the other lady and she got upset and jumped off a cliff.
Oh, I thought,
and it's supposed to symbolize because the guy was gay and he was in love with a man who ended up getting married, and
that is not what I read about it.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to read the original version for myself, but what I read about it was that at the end, he marries the other woman.
Yeah.
She can't prevent it from not happening, and she ends up dying because of the agreement that she couldn't fulfill.
Maybe that's what happened. Do you mind if I look it up? If I'm wrong, I apologize, because I'm pretty sure I found this on Tumblr.
I wanted to read it myself. I got to a point where I was like,
you know what? I know she dies.
The time to fully, but, and I mean, there's probably, I don't know. But.
So yes, obviously she marries the other person.
Mm-hmm.
The mermaid dissolves into sea foam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. I couldn't remember how she died. Dissolved into sea foam.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how mermaids die.
Which apparently is beautiful.
It is beautiful and explains why you can't find mermaid bodies. So anybody who says like, oh, there'd be bodies.
Oh my God,
Hans Christian Andersen fixed that for us.
That actually
sea foam. Oh, that's so sad. That means every morning you see a bunch of dead mermaids up on the shore because there's so much sea foam. Oh, I hope that's not. I hope.
Well, you know what? But I'm getting like.
What do you guys think?
Okay, hold on.
Tell me.
The mermaid contemplates dying, which will mean dissolving into sea foam, blah, blah, blah. However, her sisters pop out of the water, having traded their hair with the witch for a magical knife. What? That's weird.
That sounds like a new ending.
That's like...
I don't know.
Well, it says the 9 Ways, the original Little Mermaid by Chris Hans. 9
ways. So there's 9 different endings. Okay, fair enough.
Maybe that's weird.
But hey, if you've read the original, the OG, let me know.
Yeah,
I plan to find it. Do. I love reading OG stuff, and I will eventually read the original Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah. He also wrote Frozen. Or something that was inspired. Yeah. Like, he wrote a lot, too.
He did. He was very
good
popular.
As, like, Grimm Brothers Grimm.
I'm pretty sure he wrote Thumbelina, which was one of my fucking favorite tales.
He wrote a lot. Like, I do know for a fact he did The Little Mermaid, and I do know for a fact he did, was it called Queen, Ice Queen, maybe. I don't know. But it's 100% what Frozen's based off of.
Didn't he do the Frog Prince as well? I can't remember.
Shit,
now.
Did he? Man,
I don't know if you know. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. God,
I used to be really
cool.
into...
So I would definitely compare him to the Grimm Brothers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Like, he's cool.
Sure.
He's cool.
He's cool OG. Who do you like when it comes to OG writers? Because I do like Hans Christian Andersen, and the Brothers Grimm are like, I have their original
also
tales.
Fucked up?
So good.
Mother Goose was also pretty fucked up, too.
Yeah.
I mean, her
Ashen Poodle, guys.
Is that Mother Goose?
No, that's original Brothers Grimm. It's like the not Disney version. It's like their original shit. Ashen Poodle.
Was Mother Goose a woman? I'm assuming. I mean, it says mother, but...
I don't know.
Her shit was fucked up, too. Like, the rock-a-bye baby, blah, blah, blah. Bitch, your baby's falling out of a fucking tree.
Yeah.
Like the
Mother Goose is like, I love Mother Goose.
Jack jumps over the fucking candlestick and lights his ass on fire. Mm-hmm. Jeez, like,
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack
what
jump
is
over
the
the
ones
candlestick.
Like 5 little ducks swim out one day, and they get eaten. God, these people didn't like children.
I'm gonna go back to like the whole warning thing. I think it's like some of it's like just they learned early on. Let's like slip little warnings into children.
You better not run away or you'll get eaten by a fucking alligator.
Well, because like I don't know, my favorite nursery rhyme of Mother Goose is "Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row."
Oh my fucking God! Does that mean like dead bodies? Did I take that?
Those are kinds of flowers.
Mermaids. Okay, I thought that was like dead people.
No, no. Pretty maids. It's a folk name for a flower.
Okay.
So I actually have cockle shells and I think I have cockle shells and pretty maids in my garden.
She was nuts. We had a Mother Goose, and my mom did not like it. My mom was always like, "This bitch is crazy." Like none of her shit is like.
You know, like, who's the boy? Not Tom.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to catch a pail of water. And then
Jack fell down and broke his crown. And Jill came tumbling after.
They died.
Yeah.
They died.
He broke his head open.
Right.
They were trying to get water and they died.
Right? Yeah. Like, that's a fucking crazy one, too. Like,
poor children.
Well, what was the Brothers Grimm? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people fucking died instead of coming. Well, okay, wait. Tell me if I'm wrong. Snow White. It wasn't a kiss. He was taking her to his fucking castle because he was like, damn, that's a sexy bitch. I'm gonna just lay her dead body in my fucking house, in my room. And then they hit a bump and then the apple fell out of her mouth.
That sounds super familiar, but at the same time, I have not read the original version of Snow White.
Okay.
The original Cinderella is in the Brothers Grimm that I have.
And she cuts off something. Like the
heel.
Sisters cut
off their heel. One of them cuts off, the mom cuts off the big toe on one and the heel on another. And birds pluck out their eyes.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
Jack and the Beanstalk?
That's not in the one I have. Ashen Poodle is in the one I have, and that one, I want to say it's very similar to Cinderella, but I'm not sure if it's Cinderella. But anyway, like, essentially her dad wants to fuck her, so she has to, like, run away to the woods to try and not get fucked by her dad because he's like, his wife makes him promise not to marry anyone more beautiful than her.
What a bitch, why is he marrying anyone else?
Because she's dying. The wife's dying, the mom's dying, and she's like, don't marry anybody more beautiful than me. So as their daughter gets old, he's like, well, she's as beautiful as her mother. So he's going to fuck his daughter, but his daughter's like, that's gross. Anyway, original Brothers Grimm.
Is really Brothers Grimm too, right?
Pretty sure. That's a good one too. I like
Sleeping
the original.
Beauty. Maybe it was Sleeping Beauty then. Instead of Snow White, I'm wondering if it was Sleeping Beauty. Because I know one of them, they weren't kissed awake.
No. I think in most of them in the Brothers Grimm, they're not kissed awake. I think you're right about Snow White. I just haven't read.
I just can't remember which one it is.
Yeah, that would be Snow White because Snow White's the one that took the bite out of the apple. Sleeping Beauty pricked her finger.
I read a really fucked up Sleeping Beauty one.
Yeah. But I don't want to say yes or no because I haven't read the original of that. That's all I mean.
No, that's fine.
But I like the apple, like, that sounds familiar. So I feel like you are correct. The original version, that is, like, whether it's taking her back just to fuck her or what.
Or to
bury her.
Look at her.
Maybe.
You know.
But I think you're right. The apple is dislodged, and that's why she comes alive again, which is really weird because.
And he's like, I knew that was going to happen.
Brain damage. Like, she had no air for how many weeks before you found her?
Right. Well,
I know the dwarves were trying to keep her alive, but she wasn't alive. So, like, maybe it was their magic. I don't know.
I like how they talk about the Brothers Grimm in Enchanted? No, not Enchanted. Ella Enchanted. Yeah. Where they've got, like, the what is he? He's not an elf. He's not a dwarf.
The little guy with the nose and the thingies. Yeah. He's a whatever.